Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Thrive Live. Good morning, Jason. How you doing?
Good morning, Beth. How are you?
I'm great. We might have Ray today. He's in a client meeting, but if he comes out early and I see him pop up into the background, we will bring him in. But we won't tell him what we're talking about. We're
Yes.
gonna make him. We're gonna make him join
Yeah, making a
unknowingly.
guess.
I love
Or,
tricking.
or make him contribute a sentence without telling him what the topic is.
Yeah, there you go. I love that.
Yeah. Little game.
So today we're talking about restructuring, corporate restructuring, how you can turn layoffs into opportunities, best practices for restructuring. And I've been thinking a lot about the topic since we, brought it up the other day, and I it's hard, right? When you get laid off, it's hard not to take it personally, but more often than not, it has zero to do with you specifically and more to do with corporate needs, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is really hard to not take it personally because you basically will say, well, why was it me? Why wasn't it somebody else?
Yeah.
And, we all have pride in our work. And we feel that, our work wasn't good enough or we weren't good enough. And we then, internalize that. And it's hard. And the reality of it is that you will be laid off in your career. And I know some people get mad at me when I say that. Like, you
That's
shouldn't
just a
say
part
that.
of
It's
it.
horrible.
Yeah.
It's a part of life. And you can't anymore feel bad if you get laid off. I mean, like, it's a generational thing. Like, parents or grandparents. I worked 30 years down at the cornflakes plant and I was never once late and like, yeah, that's great, but we don't work like that anymore.
Yeah.
And so people, even though their views and values are evolving, they still have a bit of that, like, oh my gosh, I got let go, I'm a loser. And so, I worked for, 25 years in my career and I never had one hiccup. And then one year I was laid off twice.
Yeah.
And so, like, oh my God, what happened? Like, this is crazy. Like, never happened to me. So you just have to, be ready for it and, save your nickel, save your pennies so that if you have a rainy day, and you have a rainy day fund and you can pull from it and it's not going to be hopefully the end of the world for you financially. And then listen, it's not the same as it was like in 2008 when there was layoffs or any other time in the layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Jobs are still plentiful. Yes, there's companies that are laying off and companies that are struggling, but there's lots of companies that are hiring those people right after they get laid off. So it's a different time. It's a different era, and you cannot take it personally.
Well, and it's kind of like that. Um, it's sort of the us with preteen girls, right? Why don't they like me? Why don't they want me to be their friend? Kind of a mentality, when we're cut down, whether it's personally or professionally, we can take it as a cut to ourselves directly, and it's hard to not think it's me. But then, as you look back, looking back on times that I've been in that situation, I'm sure you as well. It was like that was the best thing that could have happened to me in my career, that had I stuck with that company, I'd probably be in the same old job in the same junky office or cubicle with the same people. And here I am in a different situation that is much more attuned to um, my life progress than it would have been had I stayed in that one job. So sometimes it's better if they kind of cut you loose at a point so that you're open to other opportunities a bit more.
No, as
Hey,
humans,
there's Ray. Hey,
yeah,
Ray.
as
Hey, Ray, so what do you think?
yeah. What's your contribution to this topic?
Yeah, that's a good way to get me after I just jumped off another call. I'm like, oh my God.
We said we were
plan
going
for
to
that.
let's trick him.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah, as my prior client wanted to talk a little bit too much, but that's okay.
No, we're glad. Thank you for being with clients and paying the bills. We're happy about
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
as humans, we all get comfortable. And back to we were talking about how you not take getting laid off personally.
Yep.
And the comment that we were making, Ray, was that it happens to everyone. It's going to happen to everyone. It's no longer, a scarlet letter that you get laid off. It's just part of life and the way work works right now. But as humans, we get comfortable. We stay in the same place because maybe we don't want to change. Maybe we have a friend at work. Maybe we like the commute, but we, put off looking at other things that are more detrimental to us. And so, the vast majority of people that will tell you that every time that they were, they left a situation, and for the most part, that was, outside of their control, they've done better. They've done either emotionally, financially, physically, whatever it's been. There's been an element of things improving in their lives, and that's the way you have to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, it's happened to all of us, for some of us multiple times, and it is the first thing you realize is there were signs, and you probably should have been better at seeing some of the signs that were
Mm-hmm.
happening. Um, and then the other part of it is, the tough part is you got to give it time to sink in before you kind of jump back, into I got to find a job mode, because
Right.
that's the tough part, and it's a great time. I think it's a great time to reflect on, hey, what went well, what didn't go well,
Mm-hmm.
what can I learn from it, and then kind of get back on the horse and try to find a new gig, and that's kind of the way and I'm sure Jason and you, Beth. I mean, we've had friends. I've had friends that have been affected, and I've been, and I help them. And I do whatever I can to
Mm-hmm.
help them through the process, because when it happened to me, I had friends that I could lean on, to help, have a cup of coffee, vent, whatever. Um, and there's an individual that I'm working with right now who has been out of work for about 9 months, and I've been trying to help him, kind of keep him focused, keep him have somebody to talk to, and buy him coffee once a month, and meet
Mm-hmm.
in person. So it's really, really important that that folks help each other during those times.
Yeah, I have a friend right now. I just talked to him yesterday. He had an interview, and he's been out of work for 15 months, and
Oh.
he's in a very specialized field. So it's not really that. But it's not doesn't really sound as bad as it is, just because the jobs that he's looking for are pretty far and in between. But I've been talking to him over the last 15 months, and he's gone into periods of, oh my gosh, I'm never going to work again. I give up.
Mm-hmm.
And he has what he thinks is probably his best interview and his best opportunity, and so he's really excited. But yeah, it happens to it happens to all of us. It's
Yeah.
just like I said, it happened to me twice within a year.
Mm-hmm.
And once on one of those jobs, I literally did the happy dance when I walked out of the building. I was so excited that I was no longer there. I was like,
Yeah, and the other thing that really I think is super important uh, is to always be working on your network,
Right.
because you know calling on your network after you've been laid off when you need something is the
Mm-hmm.
worst time to call on your network.
Yeah, you've got to
Yeah,
keep those relationships
yeah,
up, right? And
yeah,
not just in case you get laid off, but generally speaking, it always helps, in business one way or the other to call on somebody. I've got connections in all sorts of fields, and people know if you're, if you're looking for somebody
yeah,
for something.
yeah,
I'm always like, ask me first, no matter what it
yeah,
is. If it's building a fence or creating a TV show, like
yeah.
whatever it is, let me know. I can help you. I know a
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, exactly. And that's critical, and it's all about having a network, and being able to call on them for help and support when you need them. And
Mhm.
if you don't work on your network, and your folks that you can connect with, all the time, um, you know, the worst time to try to build a network is when you need a network.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, and I think, because most opportunities are never advertised, are never posted.
Mhm.
We also know that in many cases, by the time the job is posted, it's already filled.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
will,
it's just an exercise, right? When
yeah.
they're posting it out
You
there.
will never. I mean, I know. My family always tells me, don't always say always and never. That's just, it's not always and never. But I'm going to break my pledge of always saying always and never. That you will never get a job by going on and applying and posting for jobs online. Like literally, I
Yeah.
don't know of anyone that has done that. Now you're going to be one of the few that will send me a note and go, "That was really horrible. I got my job applying online. You shouldn't have said that." But I'm really telling you, Ray's right. You will not get a job applying online. So you have to work your network. That's the only way you're going to be able to continually get employed. And that's the way that when you're sitting at your desk and somebody calls you and says, "Hey, Phil, I got this really great job. Are you interested in it?" And you don't even have to bother to look like, "Oh, yeah, thanks for thinking of me." And so you go get your next big job because you were referred into it. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the way it works.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, and like Jason said, I mean, some people will get placed, looking, finding jobs online, but the vast majority of roles are through your
Yeah.
connections, folks that recruiters. There's a whole host of ways to find opportunities. And I think Jason's spot on. I mean, I don't think I've ever found any of my roles online. It's
If you're
always, yeah,
Yeah. If you're a super highly skilled software engineer, that knows Azure and Amazon Web Services and has the ability to just knock it out of the park as a software engineer, sure, you're gonna go fill out the application. They're gonna call you. But really, aside from that, you're probably not going to get a job that way. So,
So let's say person A was, I don't want to say name because I don't want to jinx anybody, right? I've been thinking like, what name should I throw out? I don't want to jinx anybody. So person A just got the note, right? Just got laid off. What would you say their first steps should be, and how should their next few months look in job searching?
Well, I mean, I think that the first step really is to kind of step back and take a look at your financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got a mortgage to pay. You've got kids. Insurance. I mean, all of those things financially that are important to you and your family. I think you've got to do an assessment of that, and then also figure out financially, what's your severance? How long is that going to take you? What's your insurance? How you're going to make sure your family's covered from a health insurance perspective?
yeah,
Um,
that's a super important point.
yeah,
Please read all the
yeah,
paperwork.
yeah,
If you do get and they provide you a packet, whether it's an email packet or a PDF packet, read everything. You would be surprised at how many people miss signing up for Cobra. They miss their window on exercising options. They don't understand what they're supposed to do. And then they leave things on the table. Read all your paperwork.
yeah, exactly. And then the other thing is, financially is making sure you've got an emergency savings that you can kind of fall back on, because if you only get a month of severance, then it may take longer to find a new job, and in that situation, uh, you know how are you gonna cover your expenses and those emergency savings? It's always good to have you know 6 months of expenses, for your emergencies, and that's exactly what folks need to think about. But I think, taking a look at your financial situation is one, um, and then really, starting to figure out who's going to support you in your job search. If your company is providing outplacement services, take full advantage of that. Those services include generally coaching. It includes resume writing, putting together a good resume, a good cover letter that very few people read.
Don't do a cover letter. Don't do it.
All of those things to prepare yourself
Mm-hmm.
for the job. I mean, so there's a lot of things you got to prepare yourself before you hit the first, make the first call.
Well,
You got
yeah,
to,
and I think one of the other important things to do is emotionally try to get yourself through that curve of being upset by the fact that you've been let go, especially if it's the first time. You've got to get through that emotional curve fairly quickly. Don't let your old boss, your old company live rent free in your head for too long. Just like, okay, you guys can be there for, a month or whatever. And then, I'm calling the sheriff and I'm evicting you. And, whatever metaphor you want to use to get them out of your head, you got to get through that pretty quick and then move to the next thing. So that's super important too.
And sometimes you'll realize, them letting you go was the best thing they could have ever done for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Thanks for giving me the leg up to my next role. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that during this time of, grief and, kind of thinking about your situation, avoid flaming anybody. Avoid the bad review on, a website.
This company stinks.
Yeah. I mean, avoid any of that. Just because
you never know.
even social media. I mean, I've seen folks post stuff on social media about their company, their ex-boss, they got let go. Just be really, really careful because your new employer potentially is going to be looking at all that. So you've got to be very, very careful with your your social presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
It lives forever.
It does. It does.
And speaking of that, I have a question. There's a company that I worked for many years ago, right when social media was becoming popular, and they wanted their employees to give access to the company to their social media. Is that still a thing that is?
No.
It seemed so odd back then.
No,
it's not a thing anymore, right?
You can't do that now.
No,
that's like
I promise you, they did that. It was I was in the meeting.
Well, I'm sure they did that at one point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there was companies at some point who figured that was appropriate. They wanted to control a narrative, and I totally understand that. But now you can't do that. I mean, obviously. You can still be held accountable for something that you post. We see all the time people getting fired for putting and saying stupid things out there. But yeah, they can't do that anymore.
So we have a recruiter friend, Jason and I have in common, who's actually one of my neighbors. And this individual is always posting information like, if you're looking for a job, don't wear a sleeveless shirt. What'd she say last one? Did you see it? Like, don't wear a tube top in your profile picture because it looks like you don't have a shirt on. She's like giving all these. If you're looking for a job, don't call the recruiter bro, or it's so funny. All these things she posts. It just gives me sort of this insight into this. Like, what are you people thinking?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Elaine deals with a lot of, and I'm not trying to say anything, objectionable, but Elaine deals with a lot of younger and career employees. And so sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to catch on what you need to do and what you need not to do. Oh, and I said her name. She also sells Scentsy too. So she's, if you're out there,
here's her address, her phone number, and hold it up on the camera so you can see her house.
Yeah, but she's very open that she sells Scentsy. So we'd be happy to send her information on. That's her side hustle.
Yeah. And we don't get any commission off of that.
No, I'm not getting any commission off of Scentsy. No.
Yeah. The other thing, kind of once you're past the whole grieving and kind of understanding that you've lost your role, you've kind of prepared yourself mentally for the search, and it's okay to take a week off and some time off. Hopefully you'll be able to, you'll be fine with your severance and with your emergency savings. But then once you do that, then you really need to basically make finding a job your job. And it really becomes, here's my plan. What's my project plan this week? What's my project plan next week? And it's really about, getting your resume together, updating your LinkedIn profile, start figuring out who you're going to network with, who you're going to be contacting, and starting, and also it's all about kind of tracking all of this activity and follow-ups, because you may talk to somebody, they may have a lead, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, let me look into it. I'll give a life. You're gonna have to follow up and say, hey Joe, remember you're gonna talk to me, talk to your buddy about this opportunity, and and all the follow ups you have to do. So it's really building a plan so that you can get ready, to interview and find opportunities, because it's really all about a good detailed project plan, targeting companies, targeting recruiters, um, you know, looking online for for openings that may fit, and then not applying online, start networking into the company to find folks that that
Mhm.
can give you a referral, because you're a lot better off finding a buddy or somebody that's an employee that can refer you to the job than just applying online, because online you're going to be one of thousands, but
Mhm.
an employer referral is handled a little bit differently.
One of
That's
the
another
things,
great thing about social media,
yeah,
LinkedIn, and all of that, where you can do that 6 degrees of separation and kind of get your way in the back door. Absolutely.
yeah, one of the things that this is for people that are looking for, more of a senior level job, perhaps a director, senior director, VP level position. One of the things that I have found over the last few years, more so than, um, you know, the last 5 to 7 years, is that recently jobs have a tendency to disappear and morph and change very quickly in today's labor market. Like, there'll be somebody that'll be talking about a job, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're opening this job. We just opened it, and we're running with that. And we're talking to people. Oh no, we just closed it. Oh no, we're changing it out because we really need this. And so, if you're looking for a senior level position, you really have to have a lot of opportunities going. I mean, you just have to, it's a numbers game. So you have to have a lot of things in play for a couple of things to work out. And just don't focus on two or three, because chances are those things are just going to, get blown away in the wind. So have a lot of things going so that you are not really upset when, something disappears and you're like, oh my God, that was a sure thing and it's gone. There's really nothing that's a sure thing anymore.
Hmm. Yep. Yep, exactly. Because I mean, we've all been in a situation where, you know, they love me, they want to make me an offer, they're just about to go through the approval process, so that can you should have an offer letter by tomorrow,
Right.
and guess what? Something happens.
That never happened to me, Google.
Yeah,
It's all about name dropping today.
yeah,
He's just
Oh
exactly,
calling
my
everybody
exactly.
out.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and poof. But
Poof.
the other
A
thing
year,
that's
a year of
really,
my life, Google.
there you
How
go.
dare you?
The other thing I think that folks have got to do once they've got their plan, is really start thinking about how they're going to interview. Practicing, answering tough questions.
Mhm.
The other thing that's really critical is going to be, you know, and we'll share this with you. I've got a template for an interview plan.
Mhm.
And it's really about looking at the job description, and it's they want these critical skills.
Mhm.
I have, and you list them so that you can, in the interview, say, you wanted these four things, I got them all. And
Mhm.
here's examples of those. Also, it's about building stories, telling a story about, how you handled a tough client, how met your financial targets. I mean, it's
Mm.
all those, building those stories
Right.
that are quick and that are effective. It's not about a 10-minute story. It is about a 2 to 3 minute story with, here's the issue, here's how I handled it, here's the resolution. The
Mhm.
star interview approach is the best one.
It's a
You know,
vignette. It's a little
exactly,
vignette.
exactly. And
It's not a
um,
crudité, it's a vignette.
exactly. And I think having a good interview plan for each opportunity is critical, because you can't wing it. Because guess
Mhm.
what? Somebody else is going to be better prepared. They may not even be qualified, but because they're prepared, they're going to come across great, and they're going to get the offer.
Right.
So it's really, like Jason said, it's a numbers game, man. You got to have a lot of irons, in the fire to be able to
Mhm.
kind of hit on one.
You know about that, Beth, because you to get married, you had to have a lot of irons in the fire, right?
But I love you, Jason.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Did I say that out? Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Ray, he's going on decaf right now.
Oh,
Elizabeth,
right.
put your husband on decaf.
That's right. That's right. Swap out the Keurig. Swap out the Keurig pods. A little green tea and decaf.
Yeah, there you
go. But no, I think and let us know. I mean, we'll be happy to help anybody that's been affected by a layoff, or if they're concerned that there may be some on the horizon, to get yourself prepared, man, because the last thing you want to do is be surprised, and to have your family situation be kind of upended because of something happening like this. And it's really, I mean, there's a lot of emotions that happen when this takes place, and not just with yourself, but with your family and your significant other. It's like coming home and having to say, I just lost my job. Not a fun conversation.
I've seen these like Netflix series or whatever where you watch and the husband gets up in the morning and he gets dressed and he gets his briefcase and he goes out the door like he's going to work, and I'm like, how does she not know he doesn't have a job?
With online banking, it's pretty easy to see that
we're busted now.
A direct deposit cannot come in as anticipated. So
but I have friends who have waited a week or so before
we lost him. Look what he did to himself. He fell out. He fell out of the chair. Is what happened.
But I have had friends that have not told their spouse for a week or 10 days, and they
stop talking about him. He's back.
Beth rejected me out of
there you go.
For my
last comment, man. That was you're out of the studio.
And delete.
No, but I was saying that it happens. I mean, I've got buddies who I know who were laid off and didn't tell their spouse for for a good week, and they just made the run to Starbucks and hung out at Starbucks or Panera, trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Yikes!
And it's tough. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I think my wife was an FBI agent in a former life. I don't think that would not fly for very long.
I'd be scared for you if you tried to lie or lie by omission to your wife, Jason.
Yeah.
No, not going to happen.
I learned that.
Be like, has anybody seen Jason? He lied to his wife.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's Jason. Bye, Jason.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the BS meter is pretty strong on my wife too. So
yeah.
All right. So the good news here is that you can get more information, and we're gonna really dive into this and really give you some additional skills and tools for this topic, and that's going to be on September 29th, 2022. It's going to be at 2 p.m. Central. It's a webinar that we're going to do about how to convert your layoff into opportunity. And this is going to be totally free. Mm-hmm. And so it's set up on my LinkedIn page and on our Drive LinkedIn page. So if you want to go, it's free. And it went up yesterday, and we're already having people book tickets. So it's going to get filled pretty quick. So if you're interested, just go on to like I said, our LinkedIn page and sign up for it. And we're looking forward to talking to you. And
we'll put the link in the comments as well. We'll link to the LinkedIn thread.
No, we'd love to. We're looking forward to doing the session and helping any way we can. We are we're available. We've got some tools. Even if you aren't able to go to the session, send us an email. Give us a call, and we'll be exactly. Drop in the comments. We'll be glad to help out as we get prepped for this.
Yeah, it's exciting. We love these webinars. You guys have several webinars planned throughout the next year. So as those become available, we will absolutely let our viewers know and our listeners know. And you, Jason, had an article come out yesterday, right?
Yes, on Work Life magazine, talking a little bit about our favorite topic, remote work and pay cuts. So that was out yesterday.
Yeah. Lots of irons in the fire, as Jason says.
Exactly.
Yeah, my dad used to say that, so somehow it just stuck with me.
Offline, I'll tell you what my dad used to say.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the few things I can actually share with you that my dad said. So.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, you have a great day. Ray, get back to those clients. Go, billable hours, buddy. Billable hours.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
All right, thanks.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
everyone,
day.
again. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.